Strange Fish. It's about a boy and a girl. You see, what happened was I had a relationship that made me. It broke me and therefore changed me. And so I wrote about it. There's the Jungian concept of the anima and the animus. If you're male, the anima is the feminine part of your soul. What happens when the animus meets the anima? It reveals to you your potential by showing you something that you want so much that you are willing to change to get it. Because when you see your missing opposite, you see what you lack. You see what you could become. That is love. That is the calling. The call. The call to what? I would say to the deepest parts of yourself. Because love means letting someone in. And inside, down there, all sorts of creatures lie. There are creatures unknown, or forgotten, or purposefully hidden. And when love takes the lid off, they come crowding to the surface. Love forces you to face your demons, because love does not exist when fear rules. Love forces you to reconcile yourself with yourself in order to love another. Love is a force, and whether it works out good or bad, it will change you forever. Love is a charge, a wash that moves through you, clearing the paths of past pain that lead to your imprisoned heart, setting it free. And so, that is what Strange Fish is about. It's about a lonely young fisherman, Jhon, who one day goes into the sea and experiences a miracle. Chapter 2. Slip, 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 go his oars as he dips them in dawn's water. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, sounds his mind as he pulls the oars towards him, the handles worn by generations of fishermen, and then pushes them away so that the blades swing out, streaming cold. In the east there is pink on the water. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. He pulls off his old jersey. He flexes his arms, raising them high, lacing and unlacing his fingers. He lets the sun touch him, because down there it will be cold. He slips into the water. Cold. It encases his body. Cold. A lens through which to see. Life springs up to meet him. Immediately she is there, her eyes just a finger from his own. They are green, flecked with all the colors of the seabed, and they look straight into his soul. I know you. She nods, her eyes bright in the cold. She laughs, bubbles streaming from her mouth. What are you looking for? Her hand appears, fingers tapered and unfolding around a bone-white palm. His eyes are dark and they pierce her through the water. He reaches out his fingers, scarred from the line, and she extends her own. Their palms touch. Again he laughs, and the first bubbles of his new life plop from his mouth. Why are you looking for a pearl? So that I can be free. Eat. She puts the meat on his tongue. It tastes of salt and sea. Of her. It's warm down here, with you. His feet hang suspended in the water, and underneath them her tail. She unfurls it, its fans spreading out until it lies flat beneath him. She brings it up to him, her fin touching his toes. She points to the surface, where only a pink glow remains. Look. At dawn on a glassy sea, the boy's little boat comes gliding towards the beach. His strokes are smooth and long. The bow digs into sand. Smoothly he turns, hopping out and pulling the little boat partway out of the water. He takes 2 paces and falls onto the still, dew-damp sand, looking out over the lightning bay. Thank you. Thank you.
Entonces voy a empezar con un filme que es My Backyard, que es ese contexto que trata sobre los personajes que intentan como tener autoridad, como tener como gran dinamismo en el tema. Y yo quisiera preguntarle primero la experiencia en esta gran película y también que recuerda alguna anécdota en especial que nos pueda comentar.
Okay, the first question is about My Badger. And yes, Jonah is asking if there is an anecdote that you can tell us about this project and how was your experience, because we know that this word deals with the theme of authority. So if you want to start talking about My Badger, go ahead.
Wow, guys, gee, that's so many years ago. It's maybe, 15 years ago. Look, my part in that project was very small. Well, what I can say about that is my friend Ari Kruger directed the movie and wrote the movie. And, you know, what that movie was about was him thinking about what is his place in South African society. As you know, I'm South African, and we come from a very interesting, fractured society. I think Colombians might relate, you know, a society that there was a lot of war, there's been a lot of violence. And then, you know, us as white people living here, in the past, we were the oppressor, from colonial times. And today, all of that is over. And yet, of course, the history still exists. So I think that movie was about Ari trying to understand, what is his place in South African society, with the option of being able to just leave. Many people go to Australia, go to England, go to the UK, go to America. And I suppose the answer is he decided to stay, and I've decided to stay. So what I can say about that is, that movie really boils down to who am I and how do I fit in, that being the question. And I think he answered it so brilliantly and I think good art does that, just asking more questions. There weren't really any answers. There was just, well, this is how it is. I think that might be what I have to say about that movie, which, it was a beautiful movie, really well done.
The people is telling that this movie is so funny that should have been remade on the States. I don't know. Do you agree with that? And if you agree, you will repeat your role, or let him leave this movie alone with the South African cast and everything?
Oh man, I don't think it matters. If someone wants to remake something, let them do it. Maybe it works out well, maybe it doesn't. I suppose it's always sad when you see American shows remake English shows like The Office or Shameless, and that the original was so good. But, then the American version is also, it's pretty good too. And I guess you mentioned Jack Sparrow, and I know that he was given the opportunity to record in the States, but they said that he would have to translate all his music from Afrikaans to English. And he said, no, he won't do that, because he told me this himself. He said, because he knows that South Africans themselves, they're the people that are going to look after him when he's older. They're his real fan base and real community. And if he was to do that, he would be cutting ties with home. So I think the answer is, I think it depends. Because if, say, the opportunity was there to remake the movie and I was given the opportunity to redo my character, but I didn't agree with it, it was stupid, then, maybe the answer would be no. Because, every situation is different. I would say that it's best to not sell yourself out. But maybe sometimes you need money. I don't know, Everyone has experiences, and sometimes someone makes a mistake. Yeah.
Before I let my partner talk, no, man, what I love is when art transcends language. That part, we are from Colombia, we speak Spanish, and we were listening rap from all over the world, and he blew us away with the Africans. I don't know. In fact, don't be surprised. I really enjoyed that movie, and I prefer watch the original movies in the original language.
Yeah.
But I will let my friend Jhon. Jhon, excelente respuesta. Dale.
De hecho, hay una comparación que te quiero realizar en dos roles que es muy importante. Es de Rey 2, que lo llamamos La Carrera de la Muerte acá en Latinoamérica, parte 2. Pero también está otra historia que es de Congo Murders. Son dos historias distintas, dos personajes distintos, pero la emoción es la misma. Es decir, en Del Reis actúa como un preso y en The Congo Murder actúa ya de una persona que es como una autoridad. Entonces, ¿cuál es la perspectiva que él tiene al interpretar los personajes en el que digan, wow, esto puede mezclar los dos goles, pero sirve como para un futuro gol de pronto para que combine, para que sea, o sea, ¿cómo hace para no solo diferenciarlo, sino para que sea tan realista? Porque la verdad sí me impresionó mucho la forma en que, o sea, yo no te conocía cuando interpretaste de Congo Murders y de Rey 2, y yo te felicito.
Jhon here asked me to congratulate you because he wanna ask about two projects that are the Race 2 and the Congo Murders. And he said that you apport so many realism in the roles that he wanna ask you, yes, how do you, we know that in one movie you are like a prisoner, and the other there is a complete opposite role. And in fact, I will take this question and mix it with the roles that I think the people most know you here in Latin America, that are in Black Sails and Outlander, this series are kicking it. Yes, how do you make to, I know it's the actor's job, but how do you to portray such realism? Because Jhon said, I watched the Congo Murders and watched, is that Milton? Is the same Milton that I watched in this movie? How does he do it? Go ahead, man. And if you want to talk about Blood Sales and Outlander, go ahead, man. Because
Outlander,
people here is crazy about these projects.
Ah, cool, man. How do you, it's just about being honest. Like even now sitting here, I could, I don't know, become maybe very animated, or I could lie to you, you know, I could tell stories that don't feel true. So it's, for me, it's not really about playing a different character every time. It's more about just being in the situation and trying to behave in a way that feels honest, feels natural, feels real. I just listen to myself and feel myself and ask myself, do I believe me? Do I believe what I'm doing? You know, it's a very strange thing, acting, because it's a very stressful environment. You know, what you don't see in the show is you don't see how you arrived there that morning and you arrive at a place where there's hundreds of people. And then you're taken through different departments and dressed, and everyone, you know, the wardrobe people are saying to you, listen, please be careful, maybe if you move in this way, because this costume has this issue with it. Or the sound person is saying, look, we've got a problem with whatever it is, so just please be careful. And then, of course, the director is telling you what he or she wants. And so everything is not what you see in the film. And somehow you've got to just make that work. And I would say that it's, for me, it's just about trying to be true, trying to be authentic, trying to be relaxed, and also just trusting yourself. Because every time I get a script, I read the lines, immediately I have an instinct which says, I think this person would be like this, because you can taste what the writers have put in there and you can feel what the story wants. And so then I have a think about what do I think is going to work here, and then there comes a time where you can't think anymore and you've just got to do it. And you've, in a way, just got to hope for the best, you know, because you don't get a lot of time either. Your time comes and you've got to go, and then it's over. So I hope I answered your question. In, you know, every role is different, but also everyone is just the same. It's just trying to be real, saying these words that aren't yours. You got to try and make them yours somehow.
And that lead me to the next question, in which, as a writer myself, I would really want to talk about the steamed fish. This is my book. It's called El amor de los enciclopedistas. No, it's in Spanish.
Okay.
But I really want to talk enciclopedistas, like
the love
of the encyclopedists.
Enciclopedistas, what is that? Encyclopedia?
Yes, encyclopedia.
The love of knowledge, or?
Yes, there's a series of 10 short histories, and all the link between the histories are the obsessions, because we know that sometimes the encyclopedias are so obsessed with facts, but we are not going to talk about but a strange fish, but I want to miss it. I always love when we interview people that write books, because in fact, one of the roles that also people know you here in this part of the world are your parts in two biggest franchise of video games. You know what? Resident Evil Final Chapter. I was rewatching it, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it because I think what Thomas Anderson did with all this crazy world of Resident Evil is giving a new life. And of course, Tomb Raider. You know that this Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander was taking of course, the new video game and put it in the big screen. But the question is not about these movies. It's about knowing that you got your novel. Do you wanna, I don't know, take a role that already exists or create a new one for another video game franchise, or maybe do that transition that I saw you get to another media? And of course, wherever you want to talk about the strange fisherman, go ahead, do it, promote your book. This is the space.
Sure. Thank you. I think what I hear you saying is why write a novel, and what am I looking to do? And my goal has always been to tell stories. I discovered theater at the age of 17. I started studying theater at school, and that led me to study theater at university and work in theater for many years, and then move into TV and film and other kinds of writing, screenplays. But always I've been trying to tell stories, and I'm trying to do that when I act. But like I said earlier, acting is so complicated because there's so many things that need to be done before you can act, But writing a novel is much simpler. And that is what attracted me to it. I wanted to try and express myself as simply and as purely as possible. Acting, you're always trying to please other people, and that's not a bad thing because it's their passion and their dream too. But I also want to tell a story in just the way that I want to tell it. And so Strange Fish for me is a real milestone because it's quite a big project to finish a novel. So I was very proud of myself for having done it, but also proud of myself for having done it well. I would say that it's a good novel. That doesn't mean that you might not like it or not like it, but I do know it's good. And, what it's about is it's about two aspects of my life. The one is when I was a child, I moved to a very small town from a big city. And I was very lonely, and I had a new father, and we did not get on. We were fighting. And then a neighbor took me fishing. And so I became a fisherman for about 3 years. And that was a very beautiful time being on the sea while I was in this lonely, sort of horrible time in my teenage years. And then later on in life, I fell in love. And I thought she was the one, I thought it was destiny. And then I had this experience of discovering that she isn't. it really was an experience of finding out that you don't get what you want sometimes. You know, life doesn't always give you what you want or even what you thought was yours. It seemed so certain that she was the one, and then she wasn't. And so it's a story then about, it's a Romeo and Juliet kind of story, you know, it's an unrequited love kind of story set on the sea. I went through a long process of finding a way to tell the story that in the way that I wanted to tell it. And it seems so obvious now, but it took a long time for me to realize that this should be about a fisherman and a mermaid. So it's actually a modern retelling of the mermaid myth. So it's magical realism. You know, the main character is a young fisherman who's very lonely and has to work all day and can't pay his debts. And then one day he meets the spirit of the sea, this mermaid character, and they fall in love, but the world is against them, you know? So yeah, in terms of the future, I'm working very hard on my novels. I'm very nearly finished my second one, which is about hitchhiking. I've done a lot of hitchhiking in my life. Yeah, I've hitchhiked all over Southern Africa and Europe and Australia. I have not done Colombia or South America, maybe one day. And so this story is about a young boy whose mom gets taken away, and he has to hitchhike far across the entire South Africa to go and try and save her. So it's an adventure story that then, you know, goes into adventures that I've had in my life, and I've blended them into this fiction. So it's, again, very similar, like it's about my own experiences, but fictionalized. So you're not sure what is and isn't fiction. Yeah. And so writing is definitely my main focus, but acting is also very important to me. So I try and do both to a high level. You know, I try and make sure that I'm focused and clear to do a good job on both of the ones that I'm trying to do.
As a writer, I have to congratulate you, man. I'm still not able to write a novel. I write one, but as you say, maybe some person will read this and they say, "Oh, I don't like it, but I feel that it's a good book." When I read my novel, it's like, no. Maybe I'll save it later. And wow, you remind me, I feel so blessed as a Colombian because you are talking about magical realism, and we are from the nation of Gabriel Garcia Marquez, you know. Of course. And wow, no, and in fact, before I let my friend talk, I know that hitchhiking strikes the life from people. I got a friend, in fact, a little story for my book, a little. I published it because when I got my stories, I was like, no, I didn't win any award. Oh man, nobody wants to publish me. So I found a friend that I haven't seen for many years, and he hitchhiked all Latin America. And wow. Yes, it's like a mix of hitchhiking and going from his home. And you know that Latin America is that big road from Colombia through Chile. And he wrote a book, and he said that it's like the route from the escargot, like El Camino del Caracol, the escargot route, yes. Something like that. And he got like 6 more novels to write. And he said, man, nobody wants to publish your novel, your book, keep searching and knocking doors from editorials. Somehow somebody will publish it. And I got it. I had to tell that friend. And oh man, I cannot wait. I really, in fact, I want to ask you the favor with the permission, Jhon, please search for your book and the final picture will take it with your book. But Jhon, le dije que busque el libro y nada, ¿tienes más preguntas? Vas a morir cuando yo traduzca, Jhon.
Sí, ya estoy preparándome para estar listo. Bueno, quiero hacerte 2 preguntas en una para finalizar, que es lo más importante, y es sobre su rol en uno de los episodios de National Geographic, que es espere si no estoy mal, No Man Left Behind, si no estoy
No
mal.
man, yes. No man left
Entonces,
behind.
bueno, tú sabes que trata sobre el miedo, pero no es ese miedo sobrenatural, sino el miedo humano, el terror. Entonces me gustaría saber sobre cómo usted visualiza el terror desde sus conceptos en África. Y también en qué parte de, o sea, si tú tuviese la oportunidad, ya es algo totalmente acá entre nos, si tuvieras la oportunidad de viajar en el tiempo, ¿a qué época te gustaría estar?
Le mencionaré un proyecto que mucha gente ama. Okay, as a final question, taking the role that you made in No Man Left Behind, in that Nat Geo show that we know that deals about fear. The question from Jhon is, if you had the opportunity to travel back in time to experience some kind of fear, what will they be the ages? And because time is running out, here in Latin America, Raised by Wolves got some kind of cult. There are people that watching are raving it. If you want to talk about this project too, man, go ahead. Tell us about the fear and time travel and No Man Left Behind and Raised by Wolves.
Well, time travel, it's similar to No Man Left Behind. My father grew up in Zimbabwe, which is the country just above us. And he was involved in the war there. And I helped him write many stories about it. Some book of short stories and also like a novel length called The Myth of Smith. And at that time when I was helping him, I always thought if I could go back in time, I'd like to go back to just that time and just experience everything he told me through my own eyes, just because, you know, your own father is such a powerful thing, you know, this place that you come from. And then, and that's, you know, that has a lot to do with No Man Left Behind, which is, you know, being a soldier. Definitely while I was playing that, I was thinking of my father who was a soldier. And it's an interesting thing because, you know, soldiering at some point when it becomes real, I think the reasons you're there disappear and it just becomes about survival. And my role in No Man Left Behind was like that. Like I had a really great scene where he was falling apart and all it was about was, will you keep going or not? Can you keep going or not? And, you know, Vince Phillips, the main character, says to him, well, think of your daughter. You've got to keep going for her. So yeah, that's a powerful thing, you know, family. And you say, what fear would I want to face? Well, I'd want to face some fear that my father faced, just to understand. And then Raised by Wolves, yeah, it's an amazing show. Unfortunately, my role in there was not too big, but yeah, I enjoyed my time on set there, and I also really enjoy watching it too.
Because time is running off, man, go find your boot. We're going to talk up. We were going to take the final picture and let you invite the people to search for the boot, your social media, a big hi to Colombia. For me, Jhon, applausos.
Thank you.
I really love your honesty, man. And as a writer, go ahead, man, find your boot. But sometimes the teachers are so hard knockers and they don't understand. They sometimes they don't understand magic. Man, the camera is yours. A big hi to the channel, to Colombia, and your social media. I'll now invite to the people to buy the book. Go ahead, man. The camera is yours.
Well, this is my novel here. It's called Strange Fish. And yeah, as I said before, it's a story about a lonely fisherman who one day meets a mermaid. So it's a love story and it's magical realism. And it's set in a small South African village. And internationally, it's available on Amazon. If you just go to my social media, you'll see all the links in my bio. Yeah, it's just important to go to Strange Fish in your area, because you might end up ordering it from the States or something, and then it's very expensive. But in fact, you just need to order it from your country. So, but if you go to the links in my bio on Instagram or Facebook, that will take you to your country. Yeah.
In fact, I had the route to work. I wasn't living in my city. I came back to my city, and I've been working in the fair booth in yes, you know that. I know Colombia got very big fair booths. I had some. In fact, I remember that in Bogota, one day South Africa was the invited country. If I can remember, yes, because Coetzee was one of the invitees. But man, I really want that your book gets translated, sell, and all the world. It's a very beautiful cover, and like I say, it's gordo. It's a bit good. But no, man, Jhon, we're going to take the picture. So please pose with your book. I will pose with mine if you allow me.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. 1, 2, and yes, save at the moment, please.
No.
Thanks, guys.
No, thank you, man. And thank you for the opportunity also to talk about my book.
Such a pleasure.
Yes, and you are always welcome here. And thank you, because when I tell Jhon before I listen, when this interview you have to post it. Now we got all the continents. Now we got Africa.
Well done, guys. Congratulations.
Para nosotros es un gusto. It's amazing, como dice Andrés.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
This is a small project made with pure heart, man.
Yeah, man. Well done.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Andrés. Cheers, Jhon. Cheers, Andrés.
Cheers.
Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Here we say salud, not cheers, but salud.
Salud. Salud.